Joining us now, VMI Keydets head football coach Scott Wachenheim. We call him Coach Swak, as you know. VMI 3-2 in the conference now after 8 games, 4-4 on the season, 500, and tremendous turnaround they've had. Tough loss last week to Mercer Bears, 24-17, but VMI had a epic comeback in the fourth quarter, almost getting the game even. So that's some good things there. They have a bye week this week, and then next week, West Carolina Catamounts. I always love the Catamounts. Is that a great name for team, Catamounts? West Carolina Catamounts. That'll be on November 2nd. Joining us now, Coach Scott Wachenheim. Coach Wack, great to have you, man.
Good to be on, John.
All right, tough game last week. A lot of us look at this. Look, we're not head football coach like you. We're laymen, we're fans, we follow the team, and you had 2 big wins, and then you got beat 2 times after that. So the first thing that comes to mind is, okay, it looks like your team let down 2 times after 2 big wins. I know you're going to dispute that because you said last week Mercer was a much better team than they appeared on paper in their record, right? And they certainly showed that, Coach.
Well, John, it is true that we won a big game against ETSU and came back and lost a close one against Robert Morris at home. And we did go win a big game against Citadel and then come back and win another big game against Sanford. So I don't think it's 100% that after we win a big game that we let down. However, we did go down to Mercer and lose to the Mercer Bears, who, they're a very talented football team. They had a bye week before, so they had 2 weeks to get ready for us. Their starting running back, who had missed the prior 2 games with an ankle injury, was back, and he rushed for 200 yards in that game. They also had their starting left tackle and starting center, who had missed the prior 2 games, back in that ball game, and in 2 weeks to prepare for our offense. And it was a cold, windy, rainy day, and we went out there and didn't execute like we normally do on offense, and had to settle for 2 field goals in the red zone. And but we were right there in the game and fought back, had a chance to win it at the very end. And Mercer's a very good football team, very well coached. I don't think our team let down at all. I think it's very difficult to win football games. I think it's even more difficult to win football games on the road.
Right. And
it's 3 times as more difficult to win against a good football team on the road when they've had 2 weeks to prepare for you.
Well, you got to play the game, Coach. I mean, look, talk is cheap, and as you know, and games are not won and lost on paper, right? I mean, look, I'm a lifelong Astro fan. We go into the World Series. We're the biggest favorite since 2007, 107 wins, best team, best pitching, best record at home, look unbeatable, playing a team that's a wild card team. But you got to play the game, right? Now we're down 2 games, and we have to go to Washington. So could be a sweep the other way. Udinski last week. I mean, I got to tell you, 46 attempts. He was 26 for 46, just under 300 yards, 1 touchdown. But think about this: how do you throw 50 passes without 1 interception? And he's done this now several times.
Well, Reese is now the all-time leader in the history of Division I FCS football. So you're talking 123 teams over the history of FCS football of the most passes thrown without an interception. So if you really look what he's accomplished, it's unbelievable. It's a tremendous accomplishment, and it's great to have a competitor like Reese be able to go out there and get that done. He deserves it, and he's the reason why we're in every ball game we've played this year, and very happy to have him as quarterback for our football team.
I mean, it's crazy to throw that many passes over and over and over, week after week, without an interception. I mean, the ball slips out of your hand, you get hit, there's a tip ball, somebody bats it down. I mean, the odds of that's why you say. I mean, it's the history of Division I football. Nobody's thrown this many passes in a row without an interception. Okay, you got a bye week this week. You're 3-2 in the conference. Everything has to fall your way in order for you to beat conference championship. So the odds on on that. There's a pathway, obviously. You got a week off. What are you going to be working on for this week as you prepare for the Catamounts?
Well, we've played 8 straight weeks, and VMI is a rigorous place in and of itself, and then 8 weeks of a Division I FCS football in the Southern Conference, and including an FBS opponent, the caliber of Marshall. Our team needs a little bit of rest and recovery time. So, Monday was the day we just watched the Mercer film and learned the mistakes that we made in that game, and we got in the weight room, lifted some weights, and, got treatment in the training room. We are practicing this Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday. The practices are geared to improve fundamentally and to get a head start on Western Carolina. And then Friday, we have to take the Virginia fitness test. It's the VFT, so we'll do that at 11:15. And then the players will have, other than the freshmen, they'll have the weekend off. The freshmen have weight training at 8 o'clock. And then we'll get back after a restful weekend full of recovery and rest and get on to Western Carolina at Monday's practice.
Well, and the thing is, same thing, kind of like a little bit like Mercer. Not as much, but Western Carolina, another trap game at home, 0-for-4 in the conference, 1-6 overall. They've lost 4 in a row. Right now, they're not playing good football, but it's 2 weeks out, right? So anything can happen, Coach.
Well, Western Carolina is a very good football team, and Mark Spear is an excellent coach, and they got a dangerous quarterback in Tyree Adams. He was suspended for 2 games earlier in the year, and then he got injured last week against Wofford. I mean, they're a different offensive team when Tyree's running the show. He can run, he can throw, he's charismatic. Everybody plays better when he's in the game. So, again, you got to be very careful just looking at records. You got to watch tape. You got to look at how dangerous opponents are. You got to know that any team can beat any team on any given Saturday. And in college football, teams dramatically change week to week. Injuries, midterms, people having issues with their girlfriend or family issues. I mean, there's so much in an 18 to 22-year-old young man's mind that's going on that, week to week, there's an inconsistency. But, we think Western Carolina is a tremendous opponent. Again, I know they're very well coached, and they have a quarterback when he's on target and he's healthy that is difficult to slow down.
You hate to look ahead, but I got to talk about the Army game, which is coming up in a couple of weeks. November 16th, I believe, if memory serves me. So it's a couple of weeks out. So I don't want to look ahead. That's not the purpose of this question. But just walk me through the thinking of getting Army on your schedule. Is this going to be an annual thing? Are they ever going to come to VMI? How does that work, Coach?
Well, I don't do the scheduling. So, Dr. Dave Dials, our athletic director, does the scheduling. I think, for us, it's a tremendous opportunity to go play a service academy with the tradition of Army. We're going to go play them at West Point. I would doubt that they would come down here to play us. I mean, they've got a much bigger stadium, Mikey Stadium. There's a lot of fans, and, they pay us some money to go up there and play. And so, that makes it a little bit more worthwhile for us also. But they're a great team. Jeff Moen's a tremendous coach, another option football team, very, very physical. Scored 70 points against Houston in a bowl game last year.
Yeah.
Very worthy opponent. And, I think our kids like going up there and playing them. I think our alumni like watching that game. So I'm sure you'll see us playing, Army and Navy because it's a close, in the foreseeable future. But again, you'd have to ask Dr. Dials on when they're on our schedule.
No, but I like the idea. I think it was about 2 or 3 years back. You guys went to Colorado Springs. You played the Air Force, I think, in the season opener. That's when you were redeveloping the team. So it was a tough day out there. But I think for VMI to get that exposure and place the other armed services, I think it's really great for the fan base, great for the alumni, great for your players. Because I remember you getting on the radio that somewhere in there and telling me that it was just a great experience to go out there. You guys went there a day early. You got an opportunity to see the campus and meet a lot of the Air Force upperclassmen. I just think for your program, although the games are tough, I think it's a great idea. So I commend the doc for doing that. Coach, we're out of time.
All right, John. Pleasure talking to you.
How's it go so fast, Coach? All right, week off. I know you're going to be
talking to me.
You're going to be preparing for the Catamounts, Coach. The Astros got to go to D.C. My family's going to the games Friday night. We're going to win that game. We're going to get back to Texas, and we're going to win the whole thing in 7. That's my prediction. John Fredericks Radio Network, Coach Scott Wachenheim.